Open up, Colorado. It's 420. Time to grind and burn.
This is not your son's stoner show.
Welcome to the Cannabis Community Project. Once again, I am Brainstorm, bringing you your weekly podcast from the CCP studios, high up in Denver, Colorado. I'm here exploring the business side with you, the business side of this newly emerging Colorado economy. Here to focus on the business, the patient, the retailer, to the geek in the garage, creating the next innovation in cannabis. I am the first media platform to help fellow cannapreneurs just like you build sustainable business models while living the lifestyle. You know, I don't need to say too much more because you've heard it already. This is our 6th show. Congratulations. Woohoo. They say most podcasters do not pass 7 shows, so I guess we have another week or so to go to break the average. But we're building, we're growing, and you're sticking with us, and we appreciate it. You know, I just want to personally say, if you like this show, let me know. Give me a click on Facebook. Give me a click on the media platform you're listening to, whether it be Stitcher or iTunes or Spreaker or SoundCloud or wherever. Let me know you're listening so we can keep bringing you shows just like this with content that you want. Well, let's move on quickly now because we have a slightly extended show today, talking with Mike from 4 Strains. Great interview. It is not long because it is jam-packed full of very interesting, very insightful, and to be honest, a little emotional content. But before we get to that, you know how this show goes. We first start out with a quick flashback, short-term memory, relapse to last week's episode, so we don't forget all the good stuff we learned. And quite frankly, last week with Hannah Samano was probably one of the best shows we've done to this point. It was really getting at the heart of what CCP is all about. So let's take a quick look back, see what Hannah had to say, and then we'll move on. How long have you been a musician?
I started playing piano when I was probably 3 or 4, and my dad owned a music shop.
The life of the musician, it's still pretty much the same as it was probably since the beginning of a musician's life. You travel around and you play your music and you try to get paid for it. Artist, which is equivalent to maybe the inventor, those who create. And then there's the entrepreneur, which is maybe equivalent to maybe the agent or the manager of the musician who's looking for the business opportunity. Now, I need to ask you about the pricing philosophy. Curious. Okay, that's the exchange where you get your career from, is exchanging music for money?
Well, it's really weird because people don't really buy albums, and so I like the model of giving music away for free.
I guess I'm working from the premise that you're trying to make this your career, right?
I just got a job at a accounting place. To the interview, I walked in, and the first person I saw was a guitar player, sound guy. So it's like, this is their real job.
Is being an artist looking for stability?
I don't know. That's what I'm having a really big problem with lately, is I'm trying to readjust the vagabond artist thing into a more sustainable, more predictable kind of style, which is hard to do it. As a creative person, it's really difficult.
If I'm a musician and I'm giving away my music for free, we probably have to come up with a business model that people haven't quite thought of yet, because I don't think you should have to work in an accounting office to be a musician.
That is ideal.
Is music a hobby or is it a career?
I think sometimes those things can happen accidentally. And I think if you look at something as kind of a hobby and know what you want it to be, then it's a lot more likely to be successful as a career.
Yeah.
It's like the rootsiness of it, because we're losing the realness of music.
The analog of touching something that's made of wood or metal and having those vibrations of waves come off of it, is that when they hit you, they're physically affecting you.
Have you ever felt a bass that you just feel like in your cells and it's nuts and it's just like, holy crap, I've never felt that before for music. And that's really cool.
I mean, with so much talent in the world, how can we not have people making a living?
I never have understood that. I really have never understood it, because it's so funny to me that the people like this that can do what a lot of people cannot do. SoundCloud is where you can download some free music. It's soundcloud.com/Samano Music. It's SAMANO Music. That's really all.
Excellent.
Excellent.
I think we did it.
Absolutely.
That was all.
Thank you.
All right. Well, there you go. Didn't I tell you that was a cool interview? A lot of stuff going on there. Go back and take a listen. You can get it right from the webpage at www.cannabiscommunityproject.com. Get the current show right from the website. Get previous shows. There's a link right there. Go back and see what's going on. We're on the 6th show, so if you are on number 6 for the first time, you'll want to go back and take a listen. Again, let's quickly move on now to Twin News This Week in News. All the news that we're aggregating from our social media, putting on our Facebook page, also at Cannabis Community Project. And then we're going to give it right back to you like we're reporters. But what we really are is just like everybody else in the media. Just regurgitating what everybody else is putting out there. But ours is going to be cannabis related, and it's all going to be relevant. If you want to see what's going on live, go to the Facebook page or listen in here every week to Twin News. Let's get into it quickly. First up this week, we got Uruguay's weed legalizing president will have another shot at winning a Nobel Peace Prize. Jose Pepe Mujicas. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, and I do speak Spanish. It's very simple. You live a good life, you treat people well, and you do things that are good for society, and you win a Nobel Peace Prize. Cannabis Now magazine, medical states to cash in millions in cannabis sales. Everybody knows when you make something legal, it brings taxes. When you make something illegal, it doesn't bring taxes, and it creates an additional expense of regulation, enforcement, and policing. Show Me Cannabis follows up with a similar article originally posted by hightimes.com. Colorado stoners generate $1 million in tax revenue. Woohoo! That was posted yesterday, but I think we all know that number has far been surpassed. Cannabis law reform. Deputy drug czar reluctantly admits marijuana is less deadly than alcohol on therawstory.com. The deputy of the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy admitted Tuesday that marijuana is less deadly than alcohol. Oh, wow. Thanks. Thank you for informing us on what we already knew. You know, this idea that nothing is real until a government official says it's real, or some type of government sanction comes forward and says, yes, we condone or condemn this. I thought it was supposed to be the other way around. I thought the people were supposed to be telling, informing, and controlling the government, and not the government controlling, informing, and dictating onto the people. What is going on? Everybody has known for years that marijuana in all forms is not harmful, deadly, or in any way resulting in negative societal impact. And everybody has known since the beginning of alcohol that it has been destructive to society. We tell stories about how people came here and obliviated the Native Americans due to things like disease and alcohol introduction. Why do we pretend like this is news? Why do we pretend like this is something we are learning for the first time and that there needed to be studies to be done? Let's grow up, people. It's time to move on. Moving on, Moms for Marijuana, always at the front of the line with the good information and stats. Jazz musician Louis Armstrong regarded his marijuana consumption as, quote-unquote, a healthy alternative to drinking. You know, on This Week in News, it's going to be very short, but I just want to quickly touch on this issue. You know, a lot of people talk about, well, what's your condition? What do you have? Cancer, AIDS, multiple sclerosis? And these are the conditions that the state of Colorado has put forth. Just a small handful of things. And then one big general category of severe pain or chronic pain, which I believe the majority of people actually fall into. But the kind of issues that we're not talking about and that we should be are all the individuals out there that are using marijuana as an alternative to drinking with no side effects. Because we all know the alternatives to drinking with side effects. the pill poppers, the meth users, the heroin users. And then we know, obviously, what drinking does. Destroys your body, creates psychosis, brings out violence in people. Whereas marijuana not only does the opposite, but it also takes away that desire for people to drink and be intoxicated. And these are the issues that we should be talking about, and you should be allowed to choose your own drug. Choose what you put in your body. And there's a large percentage of people out there that when they put this into their body, it prevents them from putting other chemicals into their body. And that is what makes society better. That is what makes people better. And that is the type of news and stories and conversation we need to be having more and more. That's all you need to know this week in news. And that was the news. Everything you need to know this week, all cannabis related. Boom! This week's show is brought to you by HMO Plus for all your growing needs. Call Joe Grow Flounder at 719-569-6529 or visit him at www.hmopluss.com. All right, are you ready for this week's interview with Mike Polk from Four Strains? You know, this is not what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking, that we're going to talk to a caretaker or a guy who owns a head shop and a smoking lounge, and it's going to be a bunch of smoking and joking. You know, this is actually probably one of those most emotional episodes that we've had up to this point. Some of the others have been kind of fun and educational, but even the patient one that we had with patient Maggie didn't quite get into what Mike's going to get into today. You know, I'm not ashamed to admit it, but I got a little emotional with him, and he got a little emotional. This is your final warning. This episode contains explicit language and heavy talk about drug use. Listen at your own risk. Because this business that's bringing opportunity is not just about smoking weed. This is an opportunity of life. People are finding a rebirth in the world, a reason to find a career and a passion to put themselves into. You know, Mike started just a few years ago, and his story is one that I know there are many, many, thousands, if not millions of people in the same situation. And there's probably many people out there who are thinking the same thing, is how can I restart my life? How can I do that if I have a criminal past? Well, Mike's going to talk about his past, but he's also going to talk about his transition and how he got to where he is today. The forces that led him here and what pushed him into this career, which was not originally by choice. One of the things we often forget is that entrepreneurs, when they put their heart and soul into something, it's not just about them trying to consume the end product. It's like a child that you're bringing up from a seed to nothing. Starting out literally in the back of his car, moving into a warehouse, expansion, and the toll that takes on somebody emotionally. We can only hope that any business we would start and any business you would start, you would have the same passion. But what if all that passion that you've done and all that work you've put into it was still looked at from the outside by society or family members as a loser, a dropout? Because I'm sure if we talk to any founder of any business, they're going to have a similar story. So Mike's story is just the story of an entrepreneur. It's a story of struggle and triumph and overcoming. And it just happens to be that the focus is in cannabis. But the unique twist here is that that focus in cannabis was one that he was pushed into as a last resort because opportunities had faded away due to mistakes in his past, due to laws and regulations that prevent people from interacting in certain industries. This is the problem we're facing today. How do we reduce prison populations? How do we get people out of poverty? How do we bring people up and make them better? And how do we make society better as we're doing that? Well, my hope is what you learned from Mike today is not only something you can apply to your own business, but it's something you can take forward and apply to others that you meet in this industry, or others who you see that spark about talking about starting a business in this industry. They're not the dropout couch lock stoners. Oh no. This is the new age of entrepreneurs, the cannapreneurs. And Mike is at the forefront of it. And I've already warned you, because it's gonna get a little deep. Let's take a listen. I'm getting closer to the fact I've turned my back on silly dreams. I'm walking down that lonely road, and my heavy load, I didn't bother to bring it. And the sun shine down on me, I feel like I deserve it. And the sun shine down. We'll just hang out and talk.
Yeah.
Just learn a little bit about you. And you just tell me you just tell me what you don't want to talk about, and we'll just cut that out.
Or just say, I just won't answer that.
Well, you don't have to treat me like I'm a prosecutor, but
I'm waiting for you.
I'm used to that.
no, I mean we'll just talk like always.
Right.
The only difference is we just have a couple microphones in front of us, but we'll just talk like always. I just want to.
Yeah.
So I know you as Mike, but who are you officially?
My real name is Mike Polk. Just another person.
It's just another person. Well,
Maybe,
who are you? I
maybe.
mean, you're the owner, proprietor of this place here.
Yeah.
Where are we?
At 4 Strains, Smoking Accessories, and Medical Marijuana Caregiver. Down by Mile High Stadium, Lower West Colfax, and Zuni. I've been here 3 years now, and the head shop opened to the people last year in December, and we've been running the marijuana gift here when you buy the smoking accessories for over a year. Because there was no more properties. Everybody had gotten, their licenses or applications in for medical marijuana businesses, and, all the property that was available was seized by the, marijuana businesses. I mean, there was distance requirements put in place, so it put a lot of people's ideas out of the picture because now real estate was limited. Like the locations, near schools or too close to other dispensaries or drug treatment facilities.
But you're talking about the businesses, the boom as far as people acquiring licenses and all that stuff. But the boom as far as the users and the patients and the industry.
Because I see it two different ways.
Right.
I see it from my side as the business standpoint. Should 120,000 viable customers in our state in 2009.
Is that what it's up to now? 120,000 registered?
I don't think it's gone over that, but yeah, that's a large market.
And it's weird because I don't even know how to really. Right now, it seems so normal.
Yeah.
That when I talk to somebody out of state, me, I'm just like, what? I don't understand.
Right.
Because you don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you don't understand. But how did you eventually make your way to that beginning 2011 area where you started?
I never wanted to be a legal marijuana grower. I got busted growing weed in 2000. And then I got my medical marijuana card when I got off paper. And that was in October 2009. I didn't know then, what I know now about medical marijuana or how the business worked or whatever, but there was not the regulation that there is now. And so the caregivers could sell the extra marijuana to the dispensaries. And that's how the dispensaries came about. Was majority of them didn't even grow marijuana. They actually bought it from all the caregivers and they sold it. And then they legislated the caregivers out of that in 2010 by forcing the dispensaries to produce 70% of their marijuana by law, and only being able to purchase the other 37% from another licensed dispensary. So I had to focus on acquiring patients, that were consistent and purchased enough marijuana from me on a regular basis to make it worthwhile being their caregiver. But you couldn't literally sell the marijuana out of your home living in Arapahoe County, like zoning restrictions, distances from schools still. I lived in an HOA, so there was no opportunity other than to get a commercial building and have mine and my patients and my wife's. Literally it didn't work in 150 square feet.
That's a powerful story. In a sense, you're really hitting something that's personal to me and a few other people I know. We actually just talked about it last week. This idea of kind of being forced into the industry as an entrepreneur as a way to survive because of those barriers of things like having a possession charge. And people don't realize, they say, well, well, it's a minor charge and in a few years, blah, blah, blah. It's not just about your credit report from a financial aspect. Every bit of your life is controlled by your reports, from everything from credit to being arrested to charges.
Protect myself anymore. Yeah, I can't even own a firearm anymore because.
Well, I mean, I don't think people realize what having a criminal record really does to limit not just opportunity of doing something that may have been big and great, but just to survive. Just to find a decent job with a corporation that has a benefit package and insurance and a pension plan requires some minimal...
It's almost impossible at this point for me.
Exactly.
No one's ever going to give me a job like that.
When I was in Mexico, I had my own little company, teaching English to businesses and doing my own little thing. Well, for 5 years, how do you translate that now when you go to a job and apply for corporate America? Because now they look at you as, well, here's a guy who doesn't really have corporate experience. He was out being kind of an entrepreneur. And that's really what I did before that, and that's really what I want to do. And that's what I'm best at anyway.
That's the type of person I would want. If I was looking for an employee that managed my company, somebody who has the ability to think for themselves, make decisions, and is motivated. I mean, to me, that's not an unemployable skill. It's just...
It's just an uncontrollable one. And that's the Achilles heel of corporate America, is that even though I may benefit greatly a corporation with my ability to work and my dedication and my creativity, I'm also going to be the person who's going to fight against that system of control, and which will ultimately destroy any creativity I had.
No, what they want is somebody who's going to accept a little bit of money for a lot of work, who's not going to potentially be looking for more money, and somebody they can replace easily. And they want an automaton that they don't have to pay a lot. Yeah, you're going to ask for money. You're going to realize you're smart enough, hey, that this is a lot of work and I should be paid more. You know what I mean? Or I need to be looking for new work or something.
And there's also basic barriers that you're talking about. The majority of companies in corporate America are not going to give you breathalyzers to apply at their job, but most likely they're going to ask you to drop a UA. So it's very difficult getting past corporate bright line policies. If I were an alcoholic and able to not drink the morning before my interview and in Monday morning when I come into work, I could probably slide a 20-year career through.
Yeah.
Maybe 30 or 40 years before I had a heart attack. I don't know.
You'd be more accepted if you drank.
Right.
More than likely, you'd be way more accepted if you drank. If you didn't drink, you probably would be ostracized to an extent, but unintentionally ostracized, because they're only going to hang out with each other because they drink together.
Right. The bar, the weekend, after happy hour.
Yeah.
Well,
That's how it happens in the marijuana community, too.
Right.
If you don't smoke weed, you're not essentially ostracized intentionally, but it happens because you are not part of the cannabis community. You don't smoke marijuana. And so, you made that choice to not smoke, and we made the choice to smoke. And so it's not like you're trying to, segregate yourself from society. It's just a different part of society.
Well, this is really where I think this emerging market of entrepreneurs is going to come from, especially here in Colorado, are not entrepreneurs of, hey, I'm coming out of college and let's start a business and pick cannabis. It's going to be, hey, I've lived a cannabis lifestyle my whole life, and now this is the industry that has picked me because I can't get a job anywhere else. So I have to be a grower, I have to be a pipe blower, I have to be a tourist, DUI 420 airport ride, I have to be whatever.
They gave us an industry, they gave it back to us. They ended prohibition in 1996 in California, and it was a big step. And it's been a slow change and a slow coming for this regulation. We're really coming into the finalization of the regulation that's going to be what will be the new regulator for cannabis industry and hemp industry in our country for another 100 years. And I'm blessed, to be honest with you. It's a blessing to be part of this.
Well, it's an opportunity for you, for me, for everybody. It's an opportunity for you to be a legitimate citizen. It's an opportunity for me to be a legitimate entrepreneur. It's an opportunity for, whoever. It's an opportunity for
jobs for other people.
Exactly.
Jobs.
Your fellow employee here, where do you think he would be working if it weren't here?
Sinclair, something like that, or some telemarketing business.
Exactly. Well, I think that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So I'm sure people are going to ask this question. If you were criminal, how did you get involved in this industry? Because I thought the regulation was built to make only non-criminals and those forth allowed to participate.
Constitutional business. I am a caregiver. I'm not a marijuana center yet.
Okay, so pretend like nobody knows anything about what that means.
Okay, well, in 2010, like I said, they legislated it. The caregivers could only have 5 patients. No felon could own a center for 5 years. That you had to have your student loans paid, and any kind of, federal stuff or state stuff had to be paid off. You couldn't have any debts like that. Go back child support. But you also had to pass a background check. So, a lot of those things started pushing people out of the business and or limiting their ability. All they did was limit my ability temporarily.
Anybody 21 and older can be a caregiver.
18 years of age
really
can be a caregiver and older. And
so let's take that slow. So I have a red card, meaning with that I have the right to do what? To
name a caregiver and purchase from centers and
Colorado resident only?
Yeah.
Okay, so a Colorado resident, 18 and older, I can just pick. Now, they don't have to pass a background check, right? They don't have to do anything. They just have to be named
and be 18.
Okay, and me as the patient I don't have to do anything other than apply for my red card with the state
and be approved.
So what that means is what you're doing is growing by people who have individually named you, which is different than a center where kind of random strangers have the ability to walk in off the street and make purchases without necessarily being patients of that individual place.
But I went about it so far as to get a commercial space with a plant husbandry permit. I acquired a retail sales tax license and a state sales tax license, the OPT, whatever, with the city. I do all that. I pay all my taxes as a caregiver. I am transparent about the fact that I sell marijuana to a limited number of people, that I'm a caregiver. I state that I'm a caregiver. So they chose me because they liked the product or the deal that I had and or the privacy of the location that I have my business in.
So you're not regulated by the state or city in the same way a dispensary is regulated?
Not as much because the fact that I'm not a large supplier. And I am regulated to an extent. Their rules are just different than mine. Their rules are different. And
as far as limitations.
Yeah. They have more ability than I do. And I really think that it's given me the ability to show that I can be a viable business. I can follow the rules, and do it the way that, they're giving me the ability to do it, even if it is on a small scale. I'm showing them that I really want to be part of this, and that I can do it right, and that I'll do whatever it takes to do it right, because it's all I got left. I've been working too fucking hard, and I've lost enough in my life, and I was given a gift, by being in this time in history and having this skill, and the passion for it. I'll give back to the community and follow the rules because of that blessing, that opportunity. And whatever rules they gave me to follow or whatever ability I had, I just did it to the best of my ability, without, any question and without resentment. And that's how I got to this point, is by just doing the best I can.
That's powerful. That was personal. I think people need to hear that. People need to hear that this industry isn't just about stoners and dopers and people wanting to get high. It's literally giving opportunity and hope to generations from old to young of people who now have the ability to do something either that they enjoy, they're passionate about, or just have the ability to do something other than Sinclair and Burger King and Walmart and the other dead-end opportunities that are offered people who have maybe been, cut short early on in life. Not everybody has the chance to, go through high school and get into college and then get a job with a corporation and have the picket fence house and the 2.3 kids. So what does that mean? That you just cast people aside? Well, now here's an opportunity. Here's a real opportunity that is beyond just patients and medical issues. This is a true industrial opportunity that can save people's lives mentally and emotionally as well as financially.
I dropped out of college. I was a 4.0 GPA at 35 years old, and I'd been there for 2 years. I was president's list, but it was just too expensive. Less than about a year later, I had a building, this one, looking and selling, looking for a place and selling weed and growing it. I'd drive 3 hours a day every day to grow weed, and then I sold it and drove then, and then I work 20 fucking hours a day sometimes. I don't give up. If I'm tired, I still get up. If I'm sick or I'm hurt, I still get up, because no one else is gonna do it. I can't trust anybody. Everybody wants to take it, but they don't want to work that hard. And I'm working it. I'm going to work as hard as I can to make it happen, because I'm given the opportunity to do it, so, there's nothing else.
I think you've done it. I mean, I think you've done definitely, I think you've proved it. I don't think there's much more to prove. I mean, obviously you could be bigger and more profitable, but
Yeah.
I think as far as proving anything,
Yeah.
I think you've proved it. I mean, this place here is a nice facility. I mean, you've done a lot of work here. And even the front end here, not just the back end and what you used to do back there and the whole deal, but just this right here. I mean, you've really turned it into a place that I think once people really get the word of it, I mean, it's a cool place. You got the pipe shop, the smoking bar, the little hangout lounge, and you've put a lot of hours into making it what it is now. And it takes time, and I don't think that's what people realize in business, is that
Right.
it takes a long time to build a base of true fans and followers. Because there's a lot of people in every business that will come and go and just kind of flake off.
Oh, yeah.
But that true core of individuals that make the core of everything happen, it takes a long time. Because like any core, it has to be well packed and
Yeah.
compounded. And to do that properly, to make that diamond, it takes a long time. And I think that's what you're kind of working through and struggling through and little by little kind of crawling and growing your way up on, is that process. And most people either give up or ultimately the system breaks them.
I grew pot in my garage and in another spot while I spent 9 months cleaning and fixing this place before I even grew a plant in it.
Yeah.
It was an abandoned garbage pit, smelled like bum piss and rats, and every pipe was burst. And I replaced all the plumbing. I redid the entire bathroom. I did all the carpeting, the flooring. I mean, I put a backflow preventer in. I did everything in the building code.
And it's a big building. I mean, obviously nobody can see it, but it's a warehouse.
5,000 square feet
Yeah.
total. It's, the
was
store is 1,000
You
square
gotta say
feet.
into the mic.
So they can see they come down here.
Jared.
Well,
I'm Jared. I run the front desk. You'll see me if you come down and buy a pipe, man.
What do you do at the front desk?
I inform people about Colorado laws on marijuana, and I just pretty much answer any marijuana related questions.
Now, where are you from? How did you guys get hooked up? How long have you known each other?
I've known Mike for about 3 years now.
Yeah.
And I met him through one of his former patients who was a good friend of mine. And we all three of us still hang out, see each other regularly. I met him through him, and I met him through one of my ex-girlfriends. I'm actually from Baltimore. I was born in Alabama but raised in Baltimore. Yeah, and it was funny. I moved out here, and she moved out here a few years later, and yeah, it all led me here. So it was awesome.
And now you're working your dream job?
Yeah, man, I joined the military like
Really?
right out of high school. Yeah, I didn't really want to, but they threw $60,000 in my face. So who's gonna say no to that?
Now,
at
you say
17
you
years
joined.
old?
Did you actually go?
Yeah, I went through the training and everything. I wasn't deployed. I volunteered for dozens of like tours, man, but nobody would pick me up. Yeah.
Well, you were in the Army.
Yeah, I was in the Army for 3.5 years. I was a helicopter mechanic. You wouldn't think so looking at me, right? The flux capacitor is real, but it does not send you back to the future. Yeah, and now I'm here, man, doing what I actually love,
I can't picture it offhand who you remind me of, but if you picture a little bit of dazed and confused of the guy in the car who says, "You got any pot?" It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Yeah, it'd be a lot cooler
right?
if you did.
And a cross betbetween that and...
I get the dude a lot.
Yeah, a little bit of the dude. Yeah, a little bit of the dude. Yeah, you need a good bathrobe, and you could probably pull it off.
A nice
That's interesting.
White Russian.
So you started out in the straight and narrow.
No, not really. No. Like I said, I never really wanted to join the military. I've been smoking pot since I was 11. I mean, the body produces THC naturally, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the consumption of marijuana as long as you do it responsibly.
How much are you guys smoking, either individually or between the two of you?
We've got to smoke a quarter ounce a day, easy.
Quarter ounce?
So maybe
That's here at the shop.
Individually or
No, here at the shop.
It's just at the store in
between
a matter
the
of
two
a
of
few
us.
hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're gonna, if you own a pizza place, you probably eat a lot of pizza.
right?
I mean,
Yeah, we eat a lot of pizza.
Sometimes you get sick of eating that much pizza.
that's true. Do you ever get sick of eating your own pizza?
No, never. I never get tired of smelling our flowers.
Do you guys sell edible oils, waxes, anything here, or is it just pipes?
We don't sell any marijuana product here.
Unless you're a assigned patient. And
Yeah.
you get more opportunity to get things than the recreational marijuana gift just because you buy a pipe. I have hash sometimes.
Oh wait, don't go over that too fast, because most people, I don't think, know. But you're the controversial 4 strains giving free marijuana.
Yeah, we give you free
You say
pot.
that to us because we're well aware of that, but there may be some people that don't know. So explain that exactly what you're doing here, because this is controversial. It caused some media news.
It did. We started giving people of 21 years of age from anywhere marijuana free when they came to our head shop and bought smoking accessories or any product that wasn't marijuana just for patronizing the store. You spend $30, you come in, you get a pipe, and then you get free marijuana because you patronize the store. It made some people mad. And they tried to get it shut down by saying it was illegal.
But it states it right in the law. Amendment 64 states that any Colorado resident can gift another Colorado resident without trade up to an ounce. And that's literally what we do here is you come in, you buy a product from us, a feasible product, and then I give you 3 grams of marijuana for every $30 you spend in my head shop, completely free.
So nobody's arguing the technicality of semantics that if they're having to buy first, isn't that an obligation?
They don't have an argument.
That was the only argument they had. But remuneration would mean, I'm not going to give an enemy anything except the evil eye. I'm not going to give them a cigarette butt or a shirt off my back. They're not my friend. So, really, the gift of marijuana to you, the customer, is a gift of appreciation for coming and patronizing my store. If that's a contract, it's the same contract I have with an individual that I claim to be my friend. I like them. They're doing something that makes me happy. Obviously, I want them to be around me, or I appreciate them because they're being cool to me. I'm not going to be cool to anybody that's not being cool to me. So I'm just being cool to people who are cool to me. You come and support me. You buy this glass and these things that I sell you, like growing medium, t-shirts, ashtrays, bongs, wraps, cigars. Any of that stuff. I got to pay for it, and I have to have overhead. I have the store, the facility, so all the overhead and everything that it costs for those products is there. The marijuana is literally free. I don't make any money off of it because the store has to, you have to pay the rent and the water and electricity and the employee and fucking buy lunch and then, you know what I mean? And, the glass, you can make, if you know retail, you mark it up. That's how you make money. So, literally, the store is what makes money, not the marijuana. The 5 patients that I sell my marijuana to used to take care of my business, and there was 2 caregivers here. So together, we work together, sharing the services and the space. And now, the head shop pretty much takes care of that lack of the partner, literally. I already had the plant husbandry permit for, cultivation. I already had the sales tax permit. I was already a caregiver. We already had the smoking accessories. We just weren't selling them as much, and I was already giving all my patients, which were my customers, 2 grams of marijuana free when they bought any size sack from me. So you bought an eighth, you got 5 grams. If you fucking bought a half ounce, you got 9 or 10 grams, or an ounce or a quarter, whatever it is. You know what I mean? So on and so forth. I mean,
But you also have this unique combination where now you have this smoking kind of lounge infused with the head shop, which I don't think anybody else in town has a setup quite like that. I don't know.
Not only that, but it's an adult hookah lounge. You have to be 21 to enter the head shop, and the hookah lounge is just another part of our head shop.
So explain how that works then. How does the hookah lounge work?
The way the hookah lounge works is you come into the shop and it's $10 a person or $10 for two. For an hour, you get to pick from any of the haze flavor hookah tobaccos we have. We have about 23 in stock right now. And you get the hookah for an hour.
And it's a real hookah. I mean,
it's a real hookah.
I've seen them. It's the whole
delicious flavors to all kinds of flavors to suit anybody's needs. We offer a big screen TV with PS3 with various games, movies, an Atari a kickback Atari with 79 games.
yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
So the bullet points are basically you're 21.
Right.
You walk through the door.
Right.
You pay $10.
$10.
And that gives you access
for an hour.
For
you
an
get to
hour
hang out here.
To hang out
in our head shop.
Smoke some tobacco,
smoke some hookah and smoke your marijuana gift product if you'd like.
Oh, okay.
We are 420 friendly. And the reason we can smoke cigarettes, hookah, and marijuana in our facility is because the property owner has already said that is okay. And
so you're a private property here.
That is the law, right, Mike?
Well, yeah, literally, we're not literally a marijuana bar. I'm not going to kick you out for smoking weed in here, and nor is my landlord going to kick me out. I have a lease that says I can only do marijuana business here, so I'm sure it's okay.
We smoke weed all day.
Yeah. Yeah, marijuana didn't get the Clean Air Act exemption in the legislation, and so there's no such thing as a marijuana bar, but I don't care if you smoke pot here.
So let's just be clear.
I'm a tobacco space.
Yeah, let's just be clear, because right now there's stoners all over town looking to run down here, thinking that this is a marijuana bar, that they're going to come here and you're going to sell them marijuana and then they're going to smoke. So let's just be clear. What they can do is come here and utilize the hookah lounge.
Yeah.
But if they happen to have marijuana on them, this is private property and it has been pre-approved by both the owner and the leaseholder. That you're cool if a legal adult wants to consume the legal product on this property, indoors, out of public sight.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as easy as that.
You're actually paying for time to kick it, basically, just like you would in a nightclub or anywhere like a cigar bar. I'm actually a smoking accessories, and I sell tobacco products. And that's 10% of my business. So technically, I'm allowed to smoke in my building because of that by building code and such and such. As a caregiver, you're not allowed to create a place to consume marijuana solely, and so that is not what I am. I am not a place to consume marijuana, but if you happen to, I am not going to kick you out. And so you need to just recognize that, and you'll be just fine.
Actually, somebody just walked in who I think is partaking in that as we speak now. So I'm witnessing firsthand a hookah lounge patron.
That'd be great. Yeah, it's actually really fun. I mean, it's just like being at home almost. I mean,
I wanted to ask you about that because there's this thing I've been thinking about for years and talking with people about, and we touched on it briefly about kind of being an entrepreneur. But do you feel like you, despite financial success or anything else, do you feel like you are at the heart of what your dream life or dream lifestyle would be if you could create it from a Sim City? If you had the ability to piece it together, not forget about the past. I'm talking about the present, just right now in this moment. Are you at the heart of what you are or what you want to be?
Fairly as much as I could say, I could never really fathom this being a reality. My whole life, up until this point, marijuana was illegal. And you were considered a piece of shit if you smoked it or hung out with people who smoked it. And they would put you in a cell with a rapist or a murderer if you grew the shit. And you weren't doing nothing to nobody. And to be able to sit here today and be free in America and smoke weed like I breathe and grow weed like I should, you know, and be able to pay taxes on it and not be put in a box.
I think anybody who's been prosecuted for it can imagine how you feel, Mike. I totally know how you feel. I've been prosecuted for it, and I mean, my entire family resented me because I was open about smoking marijuana.
What type of family do you come from?
Military background family.
Okay.
You know, they pushed me to go into the military in the first place, you know.
Was your dad a hard drinker?
No.
No.
No, my dad's he's a straight edge guy. You know, he drinks. I drink with him. You know, he smokes cigars. He says when he retires that he's gonna smoke with me. But he's a W5. He's the youngest W5 in the military. He's a government VIP, bro. It's crazy. You know, and he's getting ready to retire in like 5 years. And
so this has caused some tension in your family?
It used to because of all the negative light that marijuana, cannabis used to get, all the bullshit people were fed. You know, I didn't talk to my brother for almost 2 years until this Christmas because he started smoking marijuana. He was like, Jared, we were standing out by the smoking, and he was like, you know, I always resented you for the way you were being at peace with everybody. Like if you were done wrong in any way, you would say you would stand up for yourself, but that would be it. You could let go. And that's something my brother couldn't do until he started smoking marijuana, and he realized that smoking marijuana wasn't this bad, this terrible thing that he'd been led to believe for so many years. And he actually, it was kind of cool. My brother looked up to me.
What was his catalyst? Why did he start smoking all of a sudden?
I don't know.
You didn't ask?
I didn't ask.
A guy
I don't
goes
care.
his whole life without smoking it, almost disowning you because of it, and he just starts one day?
He started one day, and I didn't even know he smoked. I found out through my mother.
But right now, you don't want to know the answer to this question. Now that I posed the question, it doesn't...
Now that it comes up, it would be...
Let's call him right now. Because I need to know why somebody after a whole life... Because usually...
I can't even tell you who my brother is because of.
All right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I find that very odd.
Yeah, a lot of my family still doesn't accept the fact that I smoke marijuana, and I don't care.
What does that mean? They don't accept it. Like they don't invite you to Thanksgiving. They don't.
Yeah, I'm excluded from family events.
Really? Because you smoke?
Just because I smoke marijuana? Yeah, and this is their
crazy.
argument. This is their argument to me. It's mind altering, and I believe. I believe that's again. They're very religious. Some of them, and they believe.
They eat sugar, drink caffeine.
This was my argument to him on mind altering. I was like, okay, so you're against the consumption of marijuana because it alters the mind. Well, what about education? That is a serious form of mind altering.
Mind blown.
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow.
Like. I mean, so I see his argument as invalid.
I'm going to steal that.
I find that his argument is invalid, and to back it up even more is THC is produced naturally in the body. And this particular family member smokes cigarettes, and nicotine is not naturally produced in the body. So if anything, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm being completely natural and healthy with my body.
So physically altering is okay. Nicotine, which gives you a physical alteration, is okay. Alcohol gives you both a physical and mental alteration. But pure mental alteration is the sin.
Apparently, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
No, it's just alteration from their agenda, not alteration. I mean, because literally
Isn't it?
It's just giving you
altering your
perception. It's altering your perception.
natural state,
Yeah, I mean,
or something like that.
it's just altering your perception, and they don't want your perception altered from what they're trying to have you think. If you're not thinking in their general direction, well, then it's altered from the direction they want you to think. How else would it be mind altering? Medicine can be mind altering. Especially psychological medicine. You have to take a pill.
Well, I mean, that's such a thin definition of good versus evil mind altering. I mean,
Yeah.
those kind of arguments in themselves are. I try not to pay attention
This
to them.
Neanderthal, it's old world thinking. It has nothing to do with reality. It's a perception, and that's all it is from their standpoint. I mean, they have no education about marijuana.
Right.
They have no education about it. They know nothing about it. So I can't even be mad at them.
Right.
In a way, you have to laugh, and you just feel sorry for people like that because they're not willing to step outside of this core belief of, whatever, mind state that they're in, and see something from their perception with experience. Because without the experience, you can't make a statement. I mean, you can take, any kind of spoken word from any person and say it and believe it, but until you experience it for yourself, you don't have no facts.
Well, I don't even want to give those type of people and those arguments even the attention of
Exactly.
validity, of any
not
credibility. Because by even talking about it, you make it somewhat credible on their end for bringing it up. That's why I don't even talk about...
Acknowledging it.
Exactly.
It gives them credibility.
Exactly. That's why I don't even like talking about the recreational centers, because I don't want to acknowledge that like it's an event. I mean, what do we acknowledge when a liquor store opens? I mean, do we go on the air
Well
and
played,
debate?
sir. Well played. Well played.
I mean, that's
I
how
think the important thing here is the legalization of marijuana. You know what I mean? And that's fantastic. Like Mike was saying earlier, that's absolutely fantastic. And the fact that it's legal now, people are being educated. Where they were ignorant, they are now enlightened, and it's fantastic. I gave my parents an ultimatum. I was like, hey, this is what I do. You either accept me as your son or you're not. And my mom instantly jumped on board. My dad took a couple years to come around.
A couple years?
Yeah, it took a couple years to come around.
I thought you were going to say a couple days. I was not
took a
expecting
couple years to come around.
Wow.
Just like my brother. And then me being open, my sister, she opened up and she's like, yeah, I'm a cannabis user. And she's a teacher. She's a teacher. I mean, she's not high when she goes to school and teaches, but, when she gets off work,
right,
and when she goes home.
Well, just as somebody doesn't go to school drunk.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about using responsibly.
I mean, but we say that in surprise, like she's a teacher. But this is what I think is being brought to light, is that cannabis user does not fall into any demographic.
Oh, yeah.
It is all demographic.
Not everybody who smokes weed is like Cheech and Chong.
No.
Right.
I mean, we're not everybody who's...
Lawyers.
Yeah.
Business, multi-million-dollar business owners.
Right.
Well,
World leaders.
On last
Guaranteed.
week's show, I talked about this kid who messaged me, who I had met at a TEDx event. You know what TED Talks are?
Yeah.
I had met this kid who was actually giving a talk there, a young kid, like 16, 17 years old, building robotics and stuff. And he sent me a private message saying, hey, man, I support your show.
That shit's cool. Robotics.
Well, it was even cooler when he sends me a message saying, hey, I support your show 100%. I'm a heavy cannabis user myself.
Right on.
And it was like,
Big
there you go.
Robotics engineer as a teenager. That
There
smokes
you,
pot.
well,
Yeah,
it's the
point.
idea of this fine
point.
line of what does recreational really mean and what does medicinal really mean, because everybody uses it for their own purpose, their own stability, whether emotional, physical, whatever it is, whatever gets you through the day.
Can I say two things?
You can say three things if you want.
One, I started using. I could say four. The reason I started using cannabis was when I was 11. I shattered my femur, much like Joe Theismann from the Dolphins.
Wow.
And yeah, I
You fell off a bike, car accident?
No, I was playing football and I got tackled just like Joe Theismann, but I was running the ball, awkward angle, snapped my femur in like I think 8 places, Yeah, and that's the toughest bone in your body to break, and I've never broken anything ever, and I do some stupid shit. I mean, I'm a stoner, come on.
I gotta get that sound bite.
So yeah, I started smoking because I was taking at least a dozen 800 ibuprofen a day to numb the pain. Not even to get rid of it, but to numb it. I started smoking marijuana, and I've never
800 milligrams.
Yeah,
a day.
Yeah, a day. Those are
horse
fucking
pills.
big, like horse pills, dude. That was to numb it. I could still feel it, but it was bearable.
Those are used when you have major inflammation and something
man.
that's
why I have almost no stomach lining from ibuprofen.
Right,
and probably liver.
Well,
Yeah,
I stopped.
My liver and my kidneys are fucked up from it too.
I stopped taking pharmaceutical medicines altogether, and I just smoke marijuana. My leg feels fine. I never have a problem with it. You know, I'm never sick now that I don't take pharmaceuticals. I haven't taken pharmaceuticals in over 9 years, and I think I've been sick twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you've ever eaten fast food, you've taken a low form of pharmaceuticals.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely. So back to the ultimatum that I gave my father. I was trying to figure out how I could win my father over, you know, with the cannabis. And
this is almost a
amazing.
story like if you were gay. This is almost like the same setup of like coming out of the closet and telling your parents and hoping you'll be accepted and being cast out for years of family, and shunned in society.
Right. I know what
what are you telling your parents?
I know what my lesbian sister went through when she told my parents that she was gay.
Oh, there you go. You got a
know what I
lesbian
mean?
sister who
So
came out.
so I know what she
Was
feels
she
like
cast
now.
out of the family for years? Did
Yeah.
it take your dad a couple years to come around to accept
Actually,
him?
it was vice versa. My dad accepted her immediately, and my mother took years to come around to accept her. My mother still hasn't accepted that my sister is gay. She thinks it's just a phase. That she'll come out of it and then she'll go marry,
All right.
you know, some
Well,
dick
this
and get a
is-
baby. But
It's like saying being an alcoholic's a phase.
yeah,
When it's your parents, those are lies they tell themselves because
Right.
they had a
to
whole
accept
vision
it.
for you.
Because and you're not living up to their vision, you know.
Right.
So
But when it's society of people that don't know, we have to stop that type of thinking.
absolutely,
Blatantly.
absolutely,
We have-
ignorance has no place in the world. It really doesn't.
It's changing already. They will die
No, you just
naturally.
wait for the upgrade.
Yeah, they're just
Yeah.
gonna die on their own, and some of those thoughts will trickle down. But you know, as time goes on,
Eventually they'll die off.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
Those thoughts
it
will
would
die.
be like using a bad operating system.
Yeah.
You just wait for the new one to come
Yeah,
out.
we don't
you know?
use Commodore 64s anymore. You know what I mean? We have Macs.
But you're
and-
still using an Atari, isn't that what you said? You have
Hell
out here?
yeah.
Vintage. It's for the nostalgia.
You can't beat an
intentionally.
Atari, bro. You cannot beat an Atari.
Everybody loves an Atari.
So what I wanted to get
Yeah,
to
go
was social media actually helped me win my father over. Facebook. I saw a picture on Facebook, and it had a picture of a flower, a sunflower closed upon itself, and it said, "This is your brain, not on marijuana." And then it had a picture of the flower open, bloomed, and beautiful. And it said, "This is your brain on marijuana."
Yeah.
I showed that to my father, and I just watched the light shine over him.
That's all it took?
That's
Was
all
just
it
the picture?
took. The picture. Something clicked. I just watched it shine over him. The acceptance.
But why would it click if does he use?
No, he doesn't.
So how would he relate to that?
I think the visual image of seeing a flower closed and then seeing a flower fully bloomed and imagining that as your brain, just that visual aid.
Well, I always thought it was weird when people would argue, like, "Oh, those hippies. It's just
Yeah.
whatever feels good, man."
Yeah.
As opposed to what? Like, we should be looking for things that feel
No,
bad
no
in
judgment,
life?
no judgment, free love and caring and sharing. Oh my God, it's such a bad thing. Isn't that what Christianity spoke about before control?
It just seems weird that this idea
Yeah.
of to be a real adult and a real human, you have to understand that you have to screw people over, you have to hoard your money for yourself, you have to be a cold-hearted, because this is what an enlightened adult means, and a young, childish, immature is somebody who would want to love and be free and enjoy life and indulge in pleasures. Well, that's just a stupid child.
Yeah.
This is the most backwards thinking I
Yeah,
have
that's why
ever
it's Neanderthal.
heard anybody talk about.
Yeah, it's Neanderthal thinking.
But
pompous.
But some people are going to interpret that like, oh, what does that mean? Like sit on the couch and just eat Twinkies and donuts and
that's the whole
indulge in
perception.
pleasure?
No.
Well, that's not pleasure, because anybody who's ever been fat and overweight and bound to a couch is not
agony.
happy. All right? That is not where happiness is. And that's not what we're talking about.
You know, it sucks about, like we're talking, the drugs that are being put to use today and the side effects of those, you know, like Wellbutrin, Adderall, Flexeril, Demerol, blah, blah, blah. Those things are worse. They hurt us so much more. And, you know, they're going to be abused. It's out there. You can't stop it. And so, I mean, what are we doing to ourselves when we're forcing these things on our communities and our people, when we know people are going to do this stuff no matter what? They're going to seek pleasure through sex, through watching television, through eating, through doing alcohol, drugs, whatever. And so you're gonna criminalize people who are doing things to themselves that aren't hurting others in the privacy of their own home. You know,
used against us in a very real sense of it's a way that the police enforce meaningless stops and searches and seizures with people on the street. It's a way to defame somebody and make them look like a loser and a dropout. It's a way to categorize somebody without truly having any real evidence of character on them.
Yeah.
So in a real sense, I mean, what do we do? I mean, what's the answer?
Well, now that we have the opportunity and the upper hand is in our pocket as far as being able to educate the community and show them for reals, you know, that, you know, potheads aren't, you know, a bunch of fucking idiots, you know, excuse my language, but I'm serious, we're not idiots. You know, there's 100,000, you know, people in this state and that smoke marijuana, that take care of themselves on a daily basis.
Registered.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm just saying.
I'm
yeah.
sure the
I'm just saying
numbers
minimum.
are.
I'm just saying minimum that we know about.
We can put a multiplier on
Yeah.
that, probably times 10
yeah,
or
but
20.
there's like 5 million people here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just those who are brave enough to venture down into
to be real and be like, hey, look, I don't care.
process. Personally, do not want to change over into the recreational market myself.
I'm just saying for those people who...
There's no advantage for me to change into the recreational market. In fact, it's a great disadvantage.
Yeah, it costs more.
We're a one-of-a-kind store. Why would we want to change that?
I'm not changing.
Basically, what I'm doing is taking... Right now in Colorado, I have 500-plus outlets of where I can consume my product. If I go into the recreational market, I've just narrowed myself to, what, 12?
So far.
12, right? And then on top of that, I have just doubled my price, my cost of what I'm paying.
Sometimes even tripled.
Yeah, if you include like the tax and everything.
Not to mention all the time you're going to spend standing in line.
Oh, it's so ridiculous.
But if you
And
grow
the
your
bud's
own-
not even going to be that good.
Do you remember when Krispy Kreme came to town, 2000 or whatever, 99, whenever it was? Do you remember? Were you here?
Yeah,
I was here.
People were lined up for miles to get these stupid fried donuts, right?
You guys never had Krispy Kreme donuts out here before?
Not before like 99 or 98 or 2000 or
Yeah,
whatever.
I got Krispy Kreme donut underwear. That's how popular Krispy Kreme donut is back east.
But wherever it is, the point is that when they came to town here, to Denver, people were lined up, right? Because it was this blah, blah, blah. And they talked about, how the market's going to explode. Blah.
Have you ever had a Krispy Kreme donut?
Once.
They're amazing.
Once they
That's
were.
why I have the underwear. They're amazing.
Well,
Fresh Krispy Kreme donuts, don't even get me started, bro.
I'm not going to get you started, but I'm going to destroy your point with some overall statistics, is that Krispy Kreme no longer exists like it did when it came to town. Now they sell out of 7-Elevens and prepackaged boxes.
Those aren't Krispy Kreme donuts. Don't be fooled.
But here's the
There's
point.
one Krispy Kreme donut shop here in Colorado somewhere. I heard it is.
You're
fabled
making my
legend.
point. Why aren't there any
Fabled legend.
locations? Because people no longer are demanding this commodity. People are no longer demanding
It's
this
very
product of fried donuts that had to really
They
be
should.
hot. So to relate this to what's going on with the standing in line with the recreational centers, people are talking about how this explosion in the economy is going to happen, right? And look, they're saying, look at the proof. People are standing in line. They're selling out $5 million in 1 week. just like the freaking Krispy Kreme.
It'll
It's
die
not
down.
a shift in the market. It's a marketing monopoly, which means people are standing in line because there's 12 places to go, and it's the first time, like
In
when
history.
Krispy Kreme first came to
It's
town.
the first time in history in
How
like
many
100
people?
years.
Yeah, how many people do you think smoke recreationally in the United States? There's only 12.
half. Over
There's only
half of 'em.
12 recreational shops that they can go to legally.
And ours is one of them.
Yeah.
We don't actually sell it to you. We give it to you free.
So what that means is it's going to be majority dominated by tourism. So our whole economy of weed, marijuana, is going to be dominated by tourism because that's where the money is going to be coming into the market.
Check this out. If
Those who live in Colorado who are smoking are already smoking.
Oh yeah, of course. But
New
now,
money's only coming from tourists.
This money, it was already there being spent on it. What's happening is it's going into the Americans' pockets. It's no longer going into Canada's pockets. It's no longer going to Mexico's pockets. It's going back into the Americans' pockets. It's an industry. It's giving us a job. It's not going to save our
It's
economy.
the American dream,
Well,
literally.
yeah, for the last 100 years, it's been an American dream. They gave
should
us
say
the
the
American
pledge.
dream. You know what I mean?
Is
For
there a
100
Cannabis
years.
Pledge of Allegiance? Because we should make one.
Well, if our flag was made out of it at one time, I'm pretty sure there was. You know what I mean? Because we were pledging allegiance to a hemp flag.
Can we
back in the
change
day.
one of our stars to a pot leaf?
I've thought
Is
about
is that possible? Do we have the right
All
to
right,
do
stop,
that?
stoners. This is not a stoner show.
it. No, right. I thought that it was.
It's been a good talk, though, man.
Yeah.
I always enjoy talking to you.
It's cool.
It's always nice to come down here and hang out and talk. And I think I really think positive things for you down here. I think a lot of good stuff's going to happen.
Yeah, man.
And I look forward to your future and watching it and being part of it and document it.
I just want to be part of society and not be persecuted because I enjoy cannabis. And, you know, that's all I ever wanted. You know, cannabis saved my life in so many ways, and we don't even have enough time to start on that. But
Well, we got all the time in the world, but we can do it bit by bit. We can come back every few weeks and keep talking about it, and because more people need to talk about it, more people need to know. Where can people get a hold of you if they want to talk to you and
at our store,
and learn more about it?
at my store.
Where is that? You want to give the full address one more time?
Yeah, our store's 2060 West Colfax, 2060 West Colfax. We're a block west of Zunon, down underneath the viaduct, kind of near I-25, 80204, and so it's 2060 West Colfax, Unit A, in Denver. And the store number is 720-320-6855. We have a website. We have a Facebook page. 4 Strains at Facebook, 4strains.com. You can leave messages, questions, comments at the Facebook page. You can come in from noon to 7 days a week. You know, I don't want to talk to everybody in the world, otherwise I'll never get nothing done. I mean, someone's got to grow this shit and go buy
But
stuff.
they just need to roll up and ring the doorbell, and they can come in and chat with you, or buy some pipes, and they'll get the same offer of the 2 grams if
It's
they're
3
21.
grams now.
3 grams.
Yeah.
All right, or
kidding.
they can check out the Hookah Lounge and try out one of the 20-some different flavors of tobacco. Cool, man. All right, well, thanks a lot. It was good talking to you guys. We're gonna have to do it again.
That I can carry and take home with me. The sunshine down on me. I feel like I have to earn it. The sunshine down.
Well, there you have it. Mike from Four Strains. Another great interview. Very insightful, educational, emotional, everything you need wrapped up in one package. What more could you really ask for from a show called the Cannabis Community Project? If you didn't know much about caretakers, I hope you know a lot more now. If you didn't quite understand the struggles and triumphs of what it takes to get involved and stay involved in this industry, I hope you understand now. You know, these guys are very passionate down there, and they sat down with me for a long time. Go down and check them out. Check them out and say hi. Four Strains. Google it. We're going to be speaking to a lot more people just like Mike. We're going to go back to more musicpreneurs like Hannah. We're going to go back to more patients like Maggie. We're going to find more growers like the Grow Flounder, and on and on and on. So stick with us. It's only going to get better from here. See you next week. Today's show was also brought to you by Dairy Berry's Recording Studio. Please give all of our sponsors support. Dairy Berry's is a comfortable, creative, high-quality music recording studio with an emphasis on capturing the essence of the artist's vision. Call Mark at Dairy Berry's Recording Studio or look him up at dairyberriesrecordingstudio.com or call 303-456-8216.